The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the UMass 5 College Credit Union, dedicated to creating access to financial well-being for local people, businesses, and communities. Insured by NCUA, umass5.coop.
Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Chloe Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte. Later in the show, Live Music Friday with Sable Island Pony, who also kicks off this cohort of Pay It Forward grant recipients for City Space in East Hampton.
We'll also hear how you can gather with your neighbors of all walks of life in downtown Greenfield for the 2026 Harvest Supper with Stone Soup Cafe's Kirsten Levitt.
Plus, there's amazing sounds a little further up Route 2.
And a homecoming, too, as two massive ensembles debut a new collaborative work at MoCA tonight.
How's it going?
Okay.
Pretty good. I can tell you're at Porches by the wainscoting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I love that place.
Yeah, you can't beat it. How's everybody?
Doing
Okay. Although reading your bio, very mad at your fifth grade chorus teacher for telling you not to sing because your voice was too low. Like,
I know.
what an,
I was totally fine with
opportunity.
that.
The second that you said hello, I was like, listen to those dulcet tones. Who doesn't want to hear that singing?
You're always looking for lower voices to be given one and just let it go away. Just seems like such a missed opportunity.
Well, in elementary school, they just don't know what to do with it. I was happy to have the break from singing patriotic songs anyway.
That's fair.
I bet.
Yeah, I didn't sing again until high school when other people started having lower voices.
When puberty had already run its wrecking ball through through all of the folks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Grammy Award-winning vocal ensemble Roomful of Teeth returns to MoCA tonight, August 21st, to create a new concert-length work with Puerto Rican-born composer Angelica Negron and Brooklyn-based indie electronic transnational band Balloon.
Founded in 2009 by Brad Wells, Roomful of Teeth was incubated at the Massachusetts Museum of Contemporary Art, where members studied with some of the world's most extraordinary singers and teachers. Through experimentation, exploration, and plenty of failures, the group learned that the boundaries of the human voice are never what they seem, that rules can be bent, even broken, and perhaps they should be.
The ensemble will be performing the Puerto Rico Experiment, a new song cycle built from a series of sonic vignettes for voices surrounded by a mosaic of acoustic and electronic textures, drawing on the expressive possibilities of the human voice.
With us to talk about this work and the ensemble, our artistic director for Roomful of Teeth, Cameron Beauchamp, and composer of the work, Angelica Negron. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to try to focus on this work instead of all of your other work aside, because I saw Balloon at my very first Big Ears, and it was one of my highlights. I love that album so much, I recommend it to everybody.
That's so great to hear. Thank you.
Angelica, tell us about this new work, the Puerto Rico Experiment.
This new piece, it uses the word experiment both pretty literally and also metaphorically. Puerto Rico, unfortunately, has been treated as a testing ground for a lot of political, military, economic, scientific experiments throughout history as the world's oldest colony of the U.S. So the Puerto Rico experiment looks at each one of these historic experiments that have been done with our population, and at the same time invites Puerto Ricans to dream up of potential speculative fictions for a future for Puerto Ricans. It's a huge thing right now that even our local government is treating Puerto Rico in a way that it's building a Puerto Rico for others, not for Puerto Ricans, and a future of Puerto Rico without Puerto Ricans, which is just devastating. So this reimagines these experiments in a way that is thinking about, like, what if we have agency and control of our own future, which is something that's been incredibly powerful to work through with our group, which mostly is Puerto Ricans, and also with Teeth, who bring another perspective. So we're exploring sounds from traditions that we have, like música jíbara, which is mountain music, also bomba and plena, our Afro-Caribbean traditions. There's also dembow, because balloon that's one of the rhythms we love, and like slow down reggaeton. And it's been a week of discovery of this experiment unfolding, and we're finding what each of our voices place in this work is, which has been really not only interesting, but it has been really beautiful to witness in a work in progress setting, how these things emerge.
That's Angelica Negron from Balloon, who is teaming up with Roomful of Teeth tonight for for the Puerto Rico experiment at Mass MoCA in North Adams. And we're also speaking to Cameron Beauchamp, who is the artistic director for Roomful of Teeth.
Cameron, Roomful of Teeth, to me, is known for pushing the voice really as far as it can get, both through traditional and classical means. What are some of the ways that this work is really stretching what Roomful of Teeth does?
We're being stretched in really beautiful ways this week by Angelica and her incredible bandmates. Not just vocally, because, well, vocally we're being stretched by being introduced to Puerto Rican Spanish and the wonderful ins and outs of that pronunciation.
Yeah, all of us in the room nodded our heads
We're like,
knowingly.
S's do not exist. Just cut all the S's.
Cut out the S's.
Exactly.
We all got a primer during the Super Bowl when Bad Bunny told us we needed to learn Puerto Rican Spanish, and now it'll come in handy tonight at Mass MoCA.
Exactly. Beyond the beautiful language, we're exploring different colors within the grooves and the sound aesthetics that Balloon is giving us. We're all just trying to match each other, and I feel like Balloon is doing the same when Teeth is being a little extra experimental, funky with our voices. They're being inspired to do so with their voices or even with their instruments too. It's a real playground.
The name Roomful of Teeth is something I've heard for so long. You were born at Mass MoCA. In my mind, you're the soundtrack of Mass MoCA. There are certain places, like you'll walk across a bridge in Mass MoCA, and there's an installation all the time that scares the crap out of young kids, which is really fun, where voices come out of nowhere on the bridge, and that's Roomful of Teeth.
On your way to Cosmic Latte.
Out of
Listen,
the solid.
It scares us too.
Yeah. My kids who have grown up going to Mass MoCA used to call it the Museum of Creepy Art, and I love that about it. But the name Roomful of Teeth has always been curious to me. There is a famous blues band called Roomful of Blues that was founded in like the late 60s. Roomful of Teeth founded much more contemporarily. Is there any parallel between Roomful of Blues and Roomful of Teeth, or how did that name come about?
Not that I know of. I don't think there's a parallel, although they're fantastic. I have to say, Monty, we like to keep it under a shroud of mystery.
I hate shrouds of mystery. I like them in times when I'm not on the radio, but when I'm on the radio, I want to know. The Valley and Western Mass wants to know.
I'll tell you over a beer after the show.
No, that sounds exciting.
But that said, you return to the ensemble's birthplace every year, and what you bring each time shifts. Why this piece for this time?
Angelica, I'm going to let you take this one.
Well, a few years ago, Balloon did a collaboration for Fuse Box with Poncili Creacion, who are twin puppeteers from Puerto Rico that do amazing wild stuff, and we did a show at Fusebox with them, and then Cameron was there, and it was the first time he was encountering Balloon, and then I think it just kind of opened up a lot of curiosity and possibilities for him, and we
blew my mind is what it did.
Yeah.
And then we just we're like, we have to do something together. Cameron was like, we have to do something together, and I'm like, yes, definitely. And then I'm like, oh, Balloon is just always so complicated because there's so many of us and we live in different places, and then Teeth is actually this thing. And I was like, okay, let's just make it more complicated together, and it's going to be double awesome. And yeah, I think we kept thinking of possibilities of what this could be. I think we knew that this needed to be not a song, that this was going to be a thing, an evening length work. Then we saw a call for proposals from the Proman Center for the Arts for a project called the Democracy Cycle. And then Amanda, Roomful of Teeth executive director, Cameron and I started brainstorming about possible projects that could connect to this topic of democracy from the perspective of Puerto Rico, which is a perspective that's not so known in the US. I mean, thank you, Bad Bunny. Now people know a lot more, but there's still so much to know, and there's so many hidden stories that have been purposefully kept just very secret because of how messed up they are. This felt like a really important opportunity to do just that, also from a perspective that was not a work that's centered around trauma, but just something that okay, yeah, this happened, this is our history. You maybe don't know it, now you know it, but we're bringing it to you in a way that we're moving past it, and it's hard to put into words, but that is a very Caribbean and Puerto Rican sensibility of holding struggle, joy, resilience, curiosity, playfulness, absurdity, all kind of at the same time. Again, I have a hard time talking about this because I feel like you have to be there with the people, not visit, just really be there. to experience this and see how, like, our families talk about like the current water crisis and the jokes they make, while the next day they can be crying about it and be incredibly frustrated because it's impossible to live there. Finding ways in which we could convey that sonically, and also we have some like dramaturgy involved that's at the moment we're like starting to explore. I think finding ways in which we can communicate that through a sensibility rather than didactically, I think has been the challenge of this, and the thing that for me hopefully makes it resonate outwards with others.
That's Angelica Negron, who is from Balloon, who is teaming up with Roomful of Teeth tonight for the Puerto Rico experiment. I believe it is a debut in the Hunter Center. It's part of the Democracy Cycle and also funded by the National Endowment for the Arts as part of their Freedom 250 thing. So I do kind of love the fact that some of our national treasure in the federal dollars are going to support this type of exploration artistically of history, even the parts that are not necessarily the parts that people have been wanting to celebrate over the past summer.
Instead of just vanilla ice on the White House lawn.
Exactly.
Yep. You gotta be sneaky these days.
So both of your groups deal with both acoustic and electronic sound. And Angelica, you do a lot with electronic sound. Like you've built a piece where you play plants. Can you talk about that balance between electronic and acoustic sound in this piece?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I mean, I think it's the question that keeps keeping me up at 2 a.m. I'm like, okay, should this be removed from the computer and then taken on by a human? I mean, Balloon there's 7 of us. There will be 8 of us in January when we premiere the work in New York. There's many of us, and it's always a thing of like the negotiation between the electronics and the live performers. And then now we have 8 singers, each with uniquely rich and juicy perspective and texture. It's a lot and a dream as a composer to like work with that palette, but it's also a lot of like, okay, maybe this is getting lost in this. So I think I will say that it's been an incredible gift to be able to do a residency with this, precisely because we've been able to have Teeth's wonderful sound engineer, Chris Bota, who has been every day like, oh, can we hear this by itself? Can we try this without this? It's just like this role of creative audio engineering in complete collaboration with us. It's a luxury that I never have. The last thing I'll say about this is, and it's connected to electronics, but also a little more about objects and unusual objects. Like you mentioned my use of plants, and in this piece there's no plants, but there's a lot of like inside of grandfather clocks, chime rods, and music boxes, and there's like these objects of memory that are part of it too, that I've been using for many years, and that for a little while, I think in my late 20s, I was like getting boxed into like, oh, she's using all these cute gimmicky things, and I stopped doing that because I felt like, people were like seeing just that and not the music. And I'm now in my mid-40s, I'm like, oh, the toys are back. So like, part of the exploration, the playground, and also the palette that we're kind of, starting to tap into this week, honestly, but that I'm really excited to dive in further when we go into our January premiere.
What about you, Cameron?
Oh man, we're just having fun. We're so used to having our voices messed with in so many different ways. We're always amplified, and sometimes we're live processed. Sometimes things are programmed in and triggered at certain parts of music. Sometimes we're singing into metal trash cans. You name it. We're just down for whatever. We feel very at home working with all these beautiful people.
I've been lucky enough to visit Puerto Rico a number of times, and there's one sound that stands out to me, which is the sound of the legendary coquí frog. Does that make its way into the Puerto Rico experiment anywhere that we can be listening out for?
Oh, yes, definitely. Coquís are there. There's a movement called coquís rebajados. It's like slowed down coquís, in which we're playing with there's been some scientific experiments with coquí mating calls and slowing them down and seeing how that affects, their mating. And we're inspired by that in one of the movements.
Wow. It's like tantric for coquí. The slowed down mating call. Sting is involved in this one as well somehow.
Listen to that again the same way.
I'm sorry to have tainted your beautiful thing that you've created for all of us with my dirty mind.
Angelica, you like bringing in a lot of theatrical elements to this. And I'm not necessarily, this is still in it kind of being workshopped while you're at Mass MoCA. But when you premiere it, are you planning with both groups to do more visual theater?
Yeah, I think both Balloon and Teeth, and also in my own work, we all think very carefully about the visual imagery of the work and that and as an entry point to the work as well, and something that adds layers to it. We're kind of tapping into possibilities this week in a way that feels really good, and that is like getting at the essence of where we want. There's also added elements that we'll be working with in collaboration with a Puerto Rican visual artist, Sofia Gallisa Muriente, and she's going to do some videos for this, also connected to archival footage and the history of the island. There's a whole world of possibilities and objects and movement that we're just getting started with. That's really exciting.
Then lastly, for you, Cameron, what's the biggest change in Roomful of Teeth over these past 17 years?
I mean, we've been kind of a slow roll of evolution since the beginning. You know, we try to stay true to our roots, but just keep growing with the times and with our aging bodies and voices. In the last decade or a little less, we've been focusing a little bit more on larger projects rather than creating like albums of, that's like a playlist of really cool short tunes. We're trying to dig a little deeper into story and working more intimately with other artists.
It's like root canal of teeth now.
Yeah, you know it.
Digging more deeply down into that room full of teeth.
Pretty soon, it's going to be all dentures.
Yep. Cameron Beauchamp is the artistic director for Room Full of Teeth. Angelica Negron is from the group Balloon, who tonight will have the Puerto Rico Experiment, a new song cycle at Mass Mocha, the Hunter Center in North Adams, one of our favorite places, with one of our favorite groups that we've yet to have live perform on the show. Cameron, we want to arrange it so that next year, if we still have a show, when you're in residency there, we come out at the same time and we have you all perform on the show live. That's our dream.
Let's do it. Let's hang out.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
What an astounding
Pleasure.
super group of folks to bring together. Like, this is going to be such a good show.
It's a total dream group.
As far as we can tell, there's still tickets for tonight's performance of the Puerto Rico Experiment at Mass Mocha. Check out their website for details. The performance begins at 7 p.m.
Live Music Friday headed our way with Sable Island Pony, who performs at City Space on August 22nd.
And Stone Soup Cafe is continuing to perform the services of feeding folks with this weekend's 21st annual Harvest Supper, and we'll hear more about that next.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar in Hatfield, specializing in solar installations, battery storage, and clean energy solutions tailored to the homes and businesses of Western Massachusetts. Northeast-solar.com.
First of all, 21 years? What? Do you think Juanita would have thought that this would have gone on for more than 2 decades?
I think she might have. I mean, she saw how impactful the farmer's market was. Yeah. I think the funny thing about Juanita is that she was like, just on a whim, was like, what if we do this? And then people around her made it happen.
I like to dream up ideas and then everybody else can do the work.
Sure.
That's a good way to do it.
I just can't believe all those people came last year. But it's got to be quite a tradition, I guess.
Tomorrow, Saturday, August 22nd, is the annual Harvest Supper on the Greenfield Town Common, celebrating local farms, food, and community.
Stone Soup Cafe in Greenfield is the organizing body behind the community meal. Stone Soup is dedicated to breaking down social barriers through the pay-what-you-can model, bringing people together to cook and eat, increasing equitable access to healthy food, building solidarity with neighbors, and cultivating a beloved community.
Their mission is to create a community space where all are welcome to share nourishment, connection, and learning for body, mind, and spirit.
And their vision is to nourish our community with healthy food, sustainable systems, responsive mutual aid programs, creativity, and a vibrant culture of belonging.
Kirsten Levitt is the executive director and chef at Stone Soup Cafe and has been cooking since she could stand on a chair next to her mother in her family kitchen. Born and raised in New York City, Kirsten was exposed to authentic ethnic foods from around the world. She's a self-taught chef who's been cooking and catering for large parties for decades. She loves to feed and serve delicious and nutritious meals that expand your palate with world cuisines and their associated celebrations. And she joins us in the studio now.
And once upon a time, she handed me a sour cream apple pie, and I took it to a party, and I almost didn't get any.
Wow.
Oh,
my goodness.
No, you don't want that to happen.
I was sharing the wealth in community, much like this Harvest Supper, and was nearly left out of my sharing.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
thank
you for sharing that. I love that. And hello, and thank you for having us. I'm so thrilled to be back in the studio with you both. Can you believe it's the 21st annual Harvest Supper.
That means booze is going to get
That's
served.
what I was going to say. This supper can drink now.
The supper can drink now.
You got to get a special permit for that. It's right out in front of City Hall.
It is right in front of City Hall, and we didn't ask to serve any alcohol. We don't actually serve alcohol at the cafe either. We're really in touch with our community of people who are living with sobriety, so we don't do that. But I mean, honestly, we're serving all the proteins that go with a red, a white, or even a rosé. So why not?
Well, since you brought it up, let's talk about the menu. What's on the menu for the Harvest Supper tomorrow in Greenfield?
Oh, yeah. So for proteins, we are doing, of course, the famous turkey peach salad, Diamond Farm turkey, Clarkdale peaches.
Diamond Farm, where we just went to go visit. Clarkdale, we're just talking about. Ben Clark, good Ben
Yep.
Clark, fruit farmer from Clarkdale Fruit Farm.
Apex and Pine Hill Orchards are also helping with that.
Nice.
We have our famous lamb wraps where we make a house-made labneh and pickled red onions, and we wrap it in a Swiss chard leaf. And so it's wonderful everyday farm and tons of fall farm mutton and lamb. We have, again, Diamond Farm eggs, but Mycotera mushrooms
Nice.
for our quiche this year. People go crazy for this mushroom quiche that we make. You know, it's just like, hooray. I'm so happy. Of course, we're going to do a Three Sisters salad for you vegans who love black beans and all the things that our First Nations people, they shared their wealth of knowledge about how to grow corn and beans and squash together and how they feed each other, and we'll get to feed you with that. Oh, and of course, we have Bostrom Farms pork that we're doing kapusta with.
Oh.
We have all kinds of different salads, of course, roasted potato pesto salad, corn on the cob, a kale and roasted beet salad. You know, this year, the theme is The Beat Goes On.
I saw that. I was going to bring that up. The Greenfield Recorder did a story, the headline, The Beat Goes On.
Yeah.
That is the pun that you've created for the theme this year. It's because the weather is supposed to be sunny and you want to share the bounty.
Oh, yeah.
The beat goes on.
Older, and I grew up listening to Sonny and Cher and their variety show. And for some reason, in the middle of a leadership meeting, The Beat Goes On started running through my head. And I was like, oh, that's a great pun. So there we were. When we're sharing the bounty of the county, you know, you never know what you're going to get. But we do know we're going to do an apple miso salad. We're going to do a tomato and cucumber herb salad. We're doing, of course, green salad. We have over 30 farms donating to us. And so we're trying to highlight all of them. I can tell you that I roasted the beets yesterday. So you must have seen the picture
I
in
did.
the paper of tremendous amount of beets that got roasted. So they're going to make that kale salad super special. Today we're baking the multi-fruit crisp. It's peaches, apples, and blueberries. Blueberries that were harvested by gleaners from Rachel's Table
Oh, nice.
up at Benson Place in Heath. So the food's coming from all over the county. We're so lucky that farmers are so generous, especially in times when they don't actually make a profit, most
Right.
of them, but farmers grow food to feed people, and they don't want that food to go to waste. And right now, the harvest is coming in like big and bold. We're swimming in tomatoes and squash and peppers, and so ratatouille will be on the menu as well, of course,
Nice.
as always. And then we have local ice cream this year is coming from the All-Star Dairy in Hadley. We have past apps. We'll have Rise Above bread and house-made butter and bruschetta and Pekarsky's kielbasa and local honey to put on your bread. So nobody's going home hungry.
It is the Harvest Supper. It's happening tomorrow, Saturday, August 22nd, Greenfield Town Common, 4:30 in the afternoon. Perfect dinner time. And we're with Kirsten Levitt, the executive director and chef from Stone Soup Cafe, who's taken over this Harvest Supper from the mind of Juanita Nelson, civil rights and food justice icon who lived on Woolman Hill for many years. We've talked about her a lot on this show. She's one of my heroes. I'm glad I got to know her before she passed away more than a few years ago now.
Let's not talk about the March of Time.
And it's gone on to other hands. Maggie Zacara from Hope and Olive helped shepherd it with Juanita Nelson in the early days, and now Stone Soup is sort of the organizing body behind it.
You know, we stand on the shoulders of giants at all times. When each of us sits back and thinks about who taught them what, it's kind of a mind-blowing exercise in not only remembering and being grateful, but then how are we passing on legacy and how are we passing on the lessons that those folks are no longer here to teach us? It's up to us to do our part. And I love that Juanita sat there and said, we could just do this. And that my friends like Evelyn and Maggie and Jim and Mary McClintock and Dino Schnelli and myriad others just put it together for years and years. And I think I got involved in year 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a while for me too. And I love that. I love that, right? Over time. So some things stay the same on the menu and some things change. New cooks come into the cafe, and shout out to my team. They're all there right now. We have a really great team going on. Lots of different culinary perspectives that get shared, and so there are different tweaks and changes. So it might be the same named menu item, but it might taste a little different this year. Well, it will taste a little different this year, right? Because the climate is different, the rain was different, the sunshine was different, and yet and still everybody is so thrilled to eat delicious, nutritious food that's made with love and care and many, many, many hands. We stand on the shoulders of giants to carry on their legacies and to take care of each other.
I don't want to make this super quantifiable, but I am curious how many people came last year and what you see in the interactions of folks who kind of come to this as like an annual thing versus people who come to this who are regulars at Stone
I love this
Soup.
question. Everybody shows up, regulars and newbies. And last year we partnered with Jesse Dean at the Chamber, Franklin County Chamber of Commerce, and Hannah Rexschaffen, who's the executive director of Greenfield Business Association. And we said we definitely want 1,000 people. Well, we had just over 1,000 people, like 1,025 or something like that last year. But we also last year took a tremendous amount of time with the Chamber. They had drone footage made to help promote agritourism here, because going to farms and visiting farms and picking your apples, people come from other places that don't have as much of a rich farm culture as Franklin County does and as the whole valley does. And so last year we saw an uptick in out-of-staters, which was very interesting. Those folks that come once a year, it's like old home days. The amount of love and hugging and kissing and oh my goodness, and or somebody's had a baby and we haven't seen them since the baby was born, and then they come with the carriages and everybody's talking to the newborns or the toddlers that have grown up a year later. It's a phenomenal thing, right? I have goosebumps. I'm telling you this, I have goosebumps. The air on the town common is full of this jovial laughter and love and hugging and appreciation for the music that's going on. And people are walking around, adults and children, like they've had their face painted. This year, we have a mural project, which is called Faces of Harvest Supper. And so they're just ovals and people can draw in what they look like. So like there's always something to do. Some people are like, we're getting dessert first. We'll go through the food line later.
I know some of those people.
Yeah, and no shade on that one at all. My husband's a dessert first person, and if we were serving chocolate, he would definitely be the first person in line, but no chocolate this year. But yeah, no, I think like when new people show up, they're amazed by the amount of neighborliness and community spirit that's built in just a few hours. And then I've heard stories of people like, oh, I met so-and-so at the Harvest Supper for the first time, and now we're doing X with each other. A knitting group, a book group, delivery driving, or we're at the library together or something. Like, it's always fascinating how people come together. And I was teaching in classrooms before computers were a thing for students, right? And then we had a computer lab, and we worked like on these old Macs. And, well, they're old now, but then they were new. The minute we started introducing screens into our lives, we became disconnected in ways that we didn't realize. And now, more than ever, providing an opportunity for connection is vital to us. And there are so many places that do that, not just the Harvest Supper, but the book group at your library, or the local volunteering that you can do at any nonprofit. Or we started this last year, a couple of girlfriends. We have once a month girls' night. But you have to be intentional about getting away from your screen, getting out of your house. A lot of us are hybrid working or remote working, and just getting down to the town square and being with your neighbors.
Put down the apple and pick up an apple.
Right.
You could use that next year instead of the beat goes on.
No.
You could use Michelle Obama's turn up for what?
Turn up for what?
That one's good.
I
If
do
there
like that
were
one.
turnips available, that would be like,
It's a little early, right?
it's a
It's
little
a little early.
It's a little early.
It's both a little late and a little
depending on how
early.
you want to look at it. Yeah, we're speaking with Kirsten Levitt, who is the executive director and chef at Stone Soup Cafe in Greenfield, which is a week-in, week-out program that's a pay-what-you-eat cafe that people come to because they love the food and they love the community, but also people come to because they're relying on that food, and it's pay-what-you-can. This was for a long time called the Free Harvest Supper. It's now the Harvest Supper, and it is a fundraiser for the work that Stone Soup does, the largest fundraiser that you do, I believe, for the course of the year, to make sure that next Saturday there will still be food for people who need it. We have had on the show our mutual friend who we were hanging out with in Washington, D.C. at the White House Conference on Food, Nutrition, and Hunger, Liz Ogilvie from Springfield Food Policy Council, on the show last week about what she's experiencing in her neighborhood in Mason Square when it comes to hunger and the dramatic efforts that she's put forward to try to draw attention to that. Tell us about what you're experiencing when it comes to people who are relying on that food in Franklin County and in Greenfield.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, shout out to Liz. I stand in solidarity with you, my sister, and I continue to pray for you and your good health as you stand in solidarity with all of the wonderful people in Springfield and across the state who have lost their benefits. And also, shout out to our good friend, Jim McGovern, who is fighting for our rights every day. I only hope that the tides will turn. They won't turn quickly enough for some, but maybe for more. Franklin County, of course, it was really interesting. I had an interview with the local newspaper when the new stats came out that we were at 48% food insecurity. And what did we attribute the drop to? And I said, well, look at your data. There is no drop. What it is the data comes from SNAP enrollment, and people have been thrown off of SNAP. And actually, data shows that 50% of the people in Franklin County are living with food insecurity, poverty, and dire needs because their basic needs are not being met, and the programs that help them meet them no longer do for many.
I constantly say this is what late-stage capitalism looks like.
Yeah.
This is the disparate nature that it engenders.
Right. We're still doing 550 to 650 meals every single Saturday. We still see 100-plus shoppers at our Everybody's Community store. We are so blessed to have other organizations like Rachel's Table bringing us food and gleaning and saving food and being members of the food bank and being able to partake of what they offer. And still, it's not necessarily enough. There are basic needs that only a few organizations handle, like toiletries or personal care needs. We try to do that, and we do use a nonprofit out on the eastern part of the state. It means that we drive 2 hours each way to pick up personal care items, and we do that once every 4 to 6 weeks. What I notice the most, which is probably a whole nother interview, is the desperateness of people. And it comes out in different ways. It comes out in anxiety. It comes out in lapsing into substance use after sobriety or continuing substance use as a means of escape. It's short tempers. It's anger. Because Stone Soup operates outdoors, we're literally doing social service work. We're not social workers, but we're doing social service work in helping to get food to people and feed them, but also listening to deep stories and listening and trying to connect people with other organizations and other resources beyond what we can do. My phrase that I coined 16 years ago, it's hard work, but it's heart work, it's more true today than ever. This is really heart work. This is really about our organization and our staff opening ourselves up and being vulnerable and meeting people where they are and trying to ensure that our mission continues to be that we are creating a space where everybody feels like they belong, where they can get what their needs are, whether it's emotionally, spiritually, or nutritionally, body, mind, and spirit, but also that there are connections that are being made, that we're educating people. So the need is not decreasing. And we've been very blessed with good climate this year. So there will be an abundance of crops, and people will feel the pinch when farms shut down and harvests stop and gleaning stops. And, the other things cost so much, right? I'm going to tell you a silly side story. We're applying for a very small grant, and we're looking for more refrigeration. But in order to have more refrigeration, we have to have electrical work. I wrote for a quote on a single door reach-in refrigerator. It's a commercial unit. That unit used to cost $2,000. Do you know what the quote was today? $4,200.
Ooh.
Okay. So, it's like tariffs hurt, scarcity mindset hurts, late stage capitalism hurts, and hopefully the grantor will happen. Right? It's always something, right? But I want to go back to a place of positivity just for a second and say the people that show up at the cafe to volunteer, the staff that are there to do the work, the sponsors and funders and all the people that plug in different ways, in every way you can think of, mind, body, and spirit, time, talent, treasure, they're committed to being nimble, creative, versatile, and hopeful. Today I was like, I'm hopeful about something. And the person I was speaking to was like, thank goodness you said that.
Yeah.
Right?
It's easy to lose hope, and then what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, you ask Jim that every week,
I
right?
do.
What are you hopeful for this week?
Yeah.
So yeah. The Harvest Supper at its ethos was all about Juanita wanting to share what's good for you, the micronutrients, the deliciousness of freshly harvested food, treated with love and care by cooks who understood how to showcase product that's grown here. And that hasn't changed. It's going to stay the same as long as I'm sitting at the helm, right? Respect for product, respect for the work that went into those delicious apples or chard or cabbage or squash, because all along the line, the intention was the same, which was to grow something with love and care so that it would nourish other people. Harvest Supper, hopefully this year, maybe we'll be well over 1,000 people. They'll all eat food that was made with love and care, grown with love and care, and harvested just to feed them.
That's Kirsten Levitt, the executive director and chef at Stone Soup Cafe in Greenfield, who is now at the helm of the Harvest Supper, which will, for the 21st time, make its way to the Town Common in Greenfield tomorrow afternoon, starting at 4:30.
Do you find that after the Harvest Supper, you have more people curious about Stone Soup's work and how they could get involved in ways?
Yes. Yeah, so there's a twofer there, right? The
Right.
first is we're in the end of summer, and so people are returning to a different schedule. Most people are returning, like children are returning to school. So school groups start coming back out to us all the time, and fall through the spring, we have tons of different interests. I was in the kitchen yesterday as I was roasting those beets, and we had a new volunteer, Suzanne. She's from Hadley. And she had heard of us. I think it's on the NEPM website, the
wow.
Culture Things to Do, right? I don't remember what that's called exactly.
Culture to do.
Yeah, so I love that. So she found us through there. But yeah, we end up with new donors, new volunteers, people who are interested in getting involved in different ways, people who want to sit down with me and pick my brain, which I do as much as possible. Come and talk to me, and I'll share all my different ideas, as crazy as they are. It's a lovely give and take. I will toot my own horn. This year, Stone Soup's Cafe received the Massachusetts Council of Nonprofits Community Building Excellence Award. Again, I have goosebumps. I don't say this out loud a lot. We've received a lot of different awards, but this year it felt different that a Massachusetts-based organization for the entire state chose Stone Soup around community building. And I think we do that well. And I think the things that we can improve on are the ways in which we help people navigate conflict. But isn't that everybody's job every day anyway? Community building is something like, we know how to throw a party, we know how to get people involved, we know how to say, come on in and share what you want to share with us, and we're going to figure out the best way for you to feel safe and supported and satisfied and successful. Those are our goals. When volunteers come in the door, that's what I say to my staff: safe, supported, satisfied, and successful. And hopefully, after they have their meal, that's what they'll feel, is that they were in a beautiful communal space, their needs were supported, and they're satisfied.
It's not lost on me that Stone Soup Cafe was founded by the Zen peacemakers. So if you're going to figure out how to navigate through society, a little bit of Zen and a little bit of peacemaking go a lot of way. Bernie Glassman and all not to be left out of the conversation, the dude, Jeff Bridges.
Oh, my goodness. Jeff has been so wonderful to us this year. We sent him a little video about 2 months ago. We showed Jeff what was happening on a Friday afternoon, and he sent us back a video message. It was so cute.
Happy birthday, Stone Soup Cafe. It's been wonderful being in cahoots with you guys. I remember hanging with Bernie, kicking this thing off, and what a great idea it is and how wonderful it is to be with you all these years. I'm so supportive of helping to create this great community. That's what it's all about, man, community. And to be a part of that really makes my heart smile.
He's so lovely and supportive and so approachable. And I never thought I'd say, wow, I could just email the dude and he'll actually email me back.
The dude abides.
Yeah, he totally abides. And I'm just so excited for him. He overcame so much during COVID, and I think he's thriving right now, and he looks good.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'd also kind of want to point out how small your general operating budget is. It is definitely less than $1 million.
Yes.
And that's for the annual budget of feeding Franklin County.
Our budget also includes expenses around revenue. So last year, I invented revenue streams because of the funding cuts that happened at the federal level that then trickled down, and the squeeze that happened. So we cater. We have a soup CSA. It'll start in October. Enrollment will happen in September. We do bakery, savory and sweet bakery at the farmers markets 3 times a month. We started community soup nights. This year they'll be the second Tuesday of the month. And then we did some work with UMass. We started with an original premise, which was how do we actually invite people to not think of the cafe as this full-on charity-free thing, but a mutual aid organization that promotes pay what you can. We had great findings, but that report also suggested that Stone Soup become a hub for mutual aid. And so we do that, from October to May. We also have once a month mutual aid gatherings where we have one organization that's doing mutual aid come out. Right. And all of these are revenue streams, catering being the largest right now. I'm busier than a one-armed paper hanger. So when you look at the budget, there's also those expenses that are in it. We did 35,000 meals last year, and it cost us about $13 a meal. So, you extrapolate, it's about a $400,000, $420,000 budget. And then we did well over 100,000 pounds of food to everybody's community store and ran that for about $150,000 last year. And then the rest. So about $575,000 to $600,000 of our almost $800,000 budget is directly about the programs that feed people, and then the rest of it is about creating revenue streams, and that revenue stream is paying off. So it's a good thing. It really got us through last year.
This is one of the biggest fundraisers of the year for Stone Soup Cafe and the work that they do. It's the Harvest Supper. It is happening on Saturday, August 22nd, starting at 4:30 on the Greenfield Town Common. And we've been joined by Kirsten Levitt, the executive director and chef who is behind Stone Soup Cafe's Harvest Supper tomorrow. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us, and everybody show up with your appetites. Oh, and it's a bring your own bowl and plate and all of that good stuff event. But we'll have some available if you don't remember.
The beat goes on.
Find more information about the Harvest Supper through a quick search or on Stone Soup Cafe's website.
Now we'll hear modern explorations of Americana sounds with Sable Island Pony for Live Music Friday.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
Welcome back to the Fabulous 413, and if you can believe it, it's a Live Music Friday once again. And with us is Sable Island Pony, howling vocals, poetry, and unexpected arrangements that oscillate between fragile and explosive. This project has built a devoted following throughout a huge catalog of unreleased songs shared in an intense live performance that travels around the country.
With distorted guitar, warm tones, tape hiss, and devotional focus on language, the sound is somewhere between lo-fi folk and indie rock in a place she refers to as Fear Country.
Sable, originally from a small reserve town in northern Manitoba and with roots that connect Halifax to Vancouver to New Orleans, though she's been centered for the past decade in the River Valley of Western Mass. And with her performance tomorrow, August 22nd, she kicks off this season of Pay It Forward grant recipients from City Space in East Hampton. Being joined today by Olive Klug, who's been a guest on the show before on keys.
But with more sleep this time.
Yes. The first time we had you on, you had been rushed in off of a plane to the Green River Festival.
Like you had been at another festival. And
But the last time you were on was Back Porch Festival, and you were fine then, too. So let's hear something from Sable Island Pony.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
tear out every page of things you know when you are alone, that you forget when you come.
Sable Island Pony here for Live Music Friday, performing at City Space in East Hampton in the Blue Room tomorrow, August 22nd, and today, at least, and maybe tomorrow too, getting an assist with Olive Klug, playing tomorrow too.
Yeah, playing tomorrow too.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yes.
Have you ever actually seen a Sable Island horse?
A Sable Island horse?
Yes.
In the flesh?
Yes.
No, but I love them dearly. I used to live in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and that Sable Island is just this little toenail island off the coast, and everyone is always saying it's like people can't visit them there because they're just like this like special breed of like hardened horses who were shipwrecked there a million years ago, and but there's a lot of legend around them, and I think about them all the time, and like their ability to like survive on like that barren rock. And horses are just a really, I don't know, really powerful theme in my life. I think
I got to see the ponies of Chincoteague and Assateague, which was just fun to say. Talk about the Pay It Forward campaign. We've had the Pay It Forward campaign on every year that they've done it, that we've had this show. What has it meant to you and the work that you're trying to put out there?
I mean, it's been really helpful to like have the resources sent my way to fully realize something. It's lining up perfectly with the release of my first single ever. So it just like, I don't know, it's been really impactful in my life with that. Like I have many songs at this point, and I've always been pretty resistant to recording, but I'm getting over that this year. And
I feel you in that regard.
Why?
It's tough.
What made you resistant?
It's just like I want something to be fully realized and like have the music that's in my head, the thing that I'm listening to, and it's just as simple as just never being like able to be satisfied, and like hating my own voice, and like hating just being my own critic about stuff. And it's also like the moment of a song will come and go, and then I have to like reach way back in order to like pull it back and record it, but the moment's passed, so it's like always difficult in that regard. But I'm glad it's happening now, and Pay It Forward is really making it work for me.
And that single that the show is celebrating was the one you just played, I do believe, Addison. But like your music has a very strong Songs Ohio vibe.
Thank you. I've heard that comparison. I freaking love Jason Molina is a big figure for me.
Good deal.
Well, I think we should probably
do
say our
outro,
farewells, and then we will hear
song.
the other song from
Indeed.
Live Music Friday. But before we do, I can hand this to you. What is it that I'm about to hand to you?
This thing is so cool.
This is called a Shruti box. It is not mine. It's Sable's Shruti box. So you can talk about it because I don't have anything to say about it.
It looks like a
cool
briefcase made out of wood.
It's like a one-note squeeze box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got some reeds on it that you can open like to form it's like a piano kind of on the front, and it just forms a chord, and then you can only play that one chord throughout the song, and it's really pretty. It's an Indian instrument, I'm pretty sure.
Nice. Well, we like to say that the Fabulous 413 is arts and culture heavy and politics light, but not next week.
No,
Sorry,
not next week.
Coming right up on the primaries, we have so many candidates.
We'll talk to three of the folks you might see on primary ballots: Corinne Coryat, Laura Wondolowski for the 1st Franklin, and Seth Moulton for U.S. Senate.
And I'm working on Ed Markey as well. We'll also have Latino Arts Night with Mi Museo at Springfield Museum and its Smithsonian Connections.
We'll walk through Arcadia Sanctuary to get ready for the Arcadia Folk Festival.
And Laura Jean Grace will perform at the Iron Horse, and so much more. Sable Island Pony performing tomorrow, City Space in East Hampton at the Blue Room, part of the Pay It Forward campaign. Sable Island Pony is here with Olive Klug. Let's hear one more Live Music Friday song. We say our farewells to you live on the radio, but if you listen to the podcast, you'll get the whole dang thing. Take it away.
your mouth and breathe out all the pain into my grieving lungs. I can't live like this as long as it takes to say goodbye. Love, we can let it go. We had our time, though it wasn't long. You can forget all the songs I sing. Nothing's ever gonna sound the same. Hold your head dead between my fingers. Everywhere I look, I see your face. Moonlight shining on the lake in the place where you're from. I close my eyes, touch the pieces you left in my life. They're made of fragile things. Beaded earrings, metal rings, gas station dolls. You shut the door. I don't think I've ever loved you more than when you say my name, followed by the things you say when you're not
goodness. Powerful. I love it.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I wanted to mention really quick that the show tomorrow is a collaboration with my friend Makoto, who's a visual artist. So there will be like a lot of paintings that are painted in his blood.
Oh my word.
So it's a really good opportunity to come and look at some beautiful art as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Sure. Glad we could make it happen.
Yeah.